Clinton Willams is 15 years older. Simeon Powell is the much taller fighter, an 11-inch reach advantage on the arms and 5 on the legs for the man out of Great Britain. To get the action started in Arlington, Lillian Garcia.
Well, good evening, fight fans. We are live from Arlington, Texas, with the official kickoff to the 2022 PFL season. It's gonna be a night to remember, and we get it all started with the showcase bout in the light heavyweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, he is a mixed martial artist who stands at 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighs in officially at 204.5 pounds. In 14 professional fights, he has a record of 9 wins and 5 losses, with 6 victories by way of stoppage. Fighting out of White Springs, Florida, here is Clinton Willams. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he is a striker, standing at 6 feet 5 inches tall. He weighs in at 205.75 pounds. This fighter is undefeated with a record of 5 wins against no losses, with 4 wins by way of stoppage. Ladies and gentlemen, he is your 2022 PFL Challenger Series winner, fighting out of London, England, Smooth Simeon Powell. Your referee in charge, Jacob Montalvo.
Jacob Montalvo inside the cage. Here next to the PFL Smart Cage, I'm Sean O'Connell, joined by the legendary Randy Couture and Kenny Florian, our resident mixed martial arts guru. Simeon Powell in the gold trunks, Clinton Willams in the black and gray, touch of the gloves, and we are underway at 205 pounds in this showcase bout. Forward movement here from Clinton Willams. Obviously, he's got to get himself inside that long reach of Simeon Powell somehow.
Yeah, that's right. Willams knows how to pressure opponents, but he's going against a guy in Powell who is very long and lanky and has excellent footwork as well.
The right hand misses for Simeon Powell, and you see him moving backwards. Randy, sometimes that's hard for people, but a guy with a long reach like this, he's used to it. We saw it only 12 days ago in the Challenger Series fight that he participated in.
Absolutely. He's comfortable moving backwards and still able to post off that back foot and generate some power as he moves backwards, which is a very rare thing and a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, he has a tremendous jab, and the thing you got to watch out for is that flying knee. It's absolutely devastating.
Right hand glances off the top of Clinton Willams' head there. Continual pressure forward from the American fighter. Eats a leg kick for his troubles.
Clinton Willams doing a good job of pressuring. He just hasn't been able to cut off the cage. Looks like he might be hurt here. Ate a big right hand. And Simeon Powell, only 23 years old, but his composure and patience is very impressive. We saw that on full display in the PFL Challenger Series.
You saw Clinton Willams grimacing. Looked like maybe the eye took a little bit of damage from that right hand. Nice work by Simeon Powell to get himself off of the smart cage barrier. And a jab snaps the head of Clinton Willams back. Now he goes down to the body. A lot of folks very excited about this young prospect out of Great Britain. Grew up in the shadow of Wembley Stadium, and Simeon Powell said, I wanted to fight on a big stage. Well, here he is on ESPN+, and there's that knee Kenny warned you about. Clinton Willams shelling up, and there's a big left hook.
Yeah, I think you're right, Sean. I think he might be having some vision issues, may have taken a big punch right to the eye.
Randy, you made a career out of fighting guys that were taller with longer reaches. What's the key for Clinton Willams here?
I think the key is not to just threaten with his hands. He's got to fake a shot. He's got to make him believe he might try and close the distance with a takedown attempt. Just to wade in with his hands isn't going to be enough.
Yeah, and I'd like to see more feints from Willams and at least some kind of leg attack, some kind of fake for a takedown or initiate some kind of takedown and try to mix things up and put Powell on his back.
Absolutely. There's 3 levels of the playing field there. There's that kicking range and that kicking level. There's that hands and punching level, and then there's that closing the distance, changing levels in that takedown. You need to at least threaten those other levels.
100%, and where Willams has really struggled is when he stays, it doesn't matter if you're shelling. There's a nice shot there from Willams.
Came in behind the right hand, and this is where he wants to dictate the pace of this fight. Clinton Willams, a strong, powerful man, training with a bunch of guys who are really excellent in this position over at Fortis MMA. 90 seconds remaining in round number 1, and he's got Simeon Powell where he wants him for a moment.
Yeah, this is a much better spot for Willams. When he was standing still and just shelling up, Powell was really picking him apart. See if he can hit that takedown from here.
I told you that Simeon Powell came off the PFL Challenger Series, which was contested for 8 straight weeks in Orlando, Florida. He was actually scheduled to fight on the first of those, had some visa issues, couldn't get over here, so he ended up fighting in week number 8. That was only 12 days ago that he received a contract. That means he landed back in England, Randy. Went home, got the phone call right when he landed. Hey, we're going to need you to come back to Texas and fight for the PFL again. He was very excited about the opportunity, no problem. But he has yet to have that celebratory meal.
Yeah, he said he was getting ready to tuck in. We're like, tuck in? What does that mean? That means tuck in your napkin for a big one. I like it.
30 seconds left here. Clinton Willams able to keep the pressure against the cage. Simeon Powell doing a good job of negating any serious offense from the aggressor and works himself off that cage.
Oh, there's
nice
a big
combination.
jab. That right hand, oh boy.
That time he brought in a little loop around the guard of Clinton Willams. 10-second clapper, and Simeon Powell's not going to let up at the end of this first round. We'll go to the second round when we return on ESPN+. Welcome back to Arlington, Texas. Kenny Florian, walk us through these replays.
Oh, it's all about the length, the combinations, and the precision of Simeon Powell. And that was that right hand that hurt the eye of Clinton Willams and had him stationary for a couple minutes of that round. And Simeon Powell did not relent on that. Did a great job of coming up and around that guard, mixed it up, attacked low, went high. And again, just beautiful footwork and composure from the 23-year-old Simeon Powell.
Doctor's going to take a look at Clinton Willams, who's having some vision problems in that eye.
These glasses broke, so I don't know. I'll do my best.
It almost looked to me like Willams poked himself in the eye. When Simeon punched, he hit his hands, and it looked like he forced his fingers into his own eye.
Could have happened.
Round 2, let's go.
You heard Coach Safe in the corner of Clinton Willams telling him to get over it. Says it's an eye poke, it happens. And once again, Willams marching forward to open round number 2. Simeon Powell, taller fighter in the gold trunks for those just tuning in. Clinton Willams in the black and gray.
Nice footwork by Powell. Keep out at distance, use that range to his advantage, and make Willams try to wade through those punches.
No question. This is one of the hardest things to do as a striker, is to be effective, land strikes going backward. Simeon Powell has been on fire so far.
Willams attempting to cut off the cage here. Powell continues to dance around and work the jab. Let's bring in Ian Parker, our betting expert. I think he had a recommendation on this fight. What do you got for us, Ian Parker? Left hook lands.
I'm loving Simeon Powell right now. He's fighting a very smart fight. He's not getting over eager. You know, he's the first leg of the parlay. He's making me look really solid right now, and I think he's going to get this victory. As long as he doesn't make any big mistakes, I want to see him throw an uppercut. It's the only thing Willams keeps covering up. He leaves it open. If he throws an uppercut, I think he goes to sleep. Otherwise, Powell's dominating. I'm loving this fight right now.
Well, it's not an uppercut, but it is a flying knee that comes straight through the middle of Clint Willams' guard. He eats it and once again pushes Simeon Powell to the cage.
Yeah, and that's the right idea. When they're shelling and they're kind of ducking down like that, it's the uppercut and that knee that you got to watch out for, especially when you got a guy who's 6'5".
Separate.
Low blow there.
Right here.
Referee pauses the action.
No coaching right now.
Seems like Simeon Powell might be disputing that knee.
Take a look at our ghost cam here. Revolutionary technology. Exclusive to the PFL.
Ready? All right.
Here's that knee.
You got some.
Looked a little low.
Just watch that. I heard the cup on that one, so just keep it real.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Referee says he heard the cup. Simeon Powell seems to dispute whether that blow went low. In any case, Clinton Willams will have up to 5 minutes to recover.
You all right? Can you continue? You ready to go? Okay. Just watch those. Yeah, watch those elbows. All right. Here we go, guys. Time in. Let's go.
Touch of the gloves on the restart here. Back to action, and the jab lands for Simeon Powell. 5, 6 in a row, and then the inside leg kick. He gets right back to work.
Left side flank. Gotta walk. Just walk it. Walk it, buddy. Yeah, there you go. Walk it. Walk it. Walk it. Yep. Walk it. There you go.
Left hook there, glanced off the temple for Simeon Powell, shakes his head. But Randy, as we know, that usually means it hurt a little.
Exactly. It's generally acknowledgement that you got tagged.
When you have to let someone know that it didn't matter, that means that it mattered. There's that left hook again for Clinton Willams. That's been his most effective offensive weapon so far. Stringing it together might be a good idea with some other punches, Kenny.
Yeah, that's been his best punch so far. He's just not utilizing it to cut off the cage where he can land a follow-up shot in the form of a right cross.
There's that uppercut that Ian was asking for. Came at the end of a combination for Simeon Powell. You can see our smart cage taking tally of those strikes. Simeon Powell landing. Clinton Willams doing a fairly effective job with that shell of keeping the damage off of his jaw. There it is again. Clinton in on the legs here. Randy, how do you finish it with a tall guy like this?
It's a real challenge to get a long, rangy guy off of his feet. You got to explode, get him up, and use your head to take his legs out from underneath him as you get his feet off the floor.
Simeon Powell's corner calling for wrist control. Their fighter obliges. He's only 23 years old, as you mentioned, Kenny Florian. Very coachable.
Let's go, Clint! Let's go, Clint! Let it fucking go! Let it fucking go, Clint!
Right hand there for Clinton Willams, who now continues with the pressure. He's walking into a little bit of fire, but it's mostly jabs that are landing for Simeon Powell, and you're not going to put Clinton Willams away with the jab.
Yeah, and you hear the coach for Clinton Willams, Saif Saud, asking for him to let it go. There's
Big
some let it go to combination.
There's the takedown.
That's the explosion that you were calling for, Randy.
Absolutely.
Clinton Willams now moves into half mount. And this is a question for Simeon Powell. We know that he's got excellent footwork. We know he's got that long range. You want to take away a long range weapon, you put somebody on their back.
And he's got to take advantage of this position as well. He can't just sit there and control. He's got to land some ground and pound to try to soften Powell up and try to hurt him here.
You're actually looking through the chain link of our smart cage there, but the ghost cam, like magic, Randy, removes the fence. Clinton Willams will finish round number 2 on top. Interesting turn of events here on ESPN+. Welcome back to Arlington, Texas. This replay takes us back to the first round, Randy Couture.
There's playing long. There's that right hand right on the button. Uses that jab very, very nicely. There's the flying knee. He times that so well. And you can tell with a guy like Willams who's chasing and plotting and trying to get in there, he's trying to time that knee. He's picking apart the clamshell guard of Willams. And here's Willams in deep, picks up the hips, drags him off the fence, and finishes strong.
Willams finished round number 2 on top. Simeon Powell, I overheard them saying They felt like he still won round number 2, even though he finished it on his back. Now Clinton Willams, not wasting any time, pressing forward. And Simeon Powell once again trying to dance his way out of trouble in front of the American.
Yeah, and I think for Clinton Willams, he has to work under the assumption that he did lose that second round, needs to come forward, and he's doing it right now. Good to see here. Now, can he land those big shots, and can he hit that takedown again? But he is struggling with that right eye.
Partially closed at least, some serious swelling around that right eye. That came from a first round punch that Clinton Willams thought maybe was a poke. Simeon Powell goes back to the body with the jab. The left hand for Powell, very, very active. Once again, Willams in on the legs. Picks him up and puts him down.
Now that's some horsepower right there.
No one questioned the strength of Clinton Willams coming in to this bout. He lands directly inside control and actually had an opportunity there to stuff Simeon Powell's hand down into a crucifix position.
Yeah, Simeon is just kind of trying to sit up right now. Not quite able to turn. He's looking for that right underhook. You see that right hand trying to dig underneath the left arm of Clinton Willams.
Talk about it all the time. Both men need that far side underhook. Sort of a neutral battle for it right now. And there's
Simeon got that far side underhook. He's got to circle towards that underhook with his hips, create a little daylight underneath Willams, and try and find a way to get some elevation to get back to his feet.
Yeah, let's see if he can turn and face and escape this position. So far, Clinton Willams doing a good job controlling, but not able to land any shots here.
That was textbook by Simeon Powell. Circled towards that underhook, got some daylight, got his hips up, and got back to his feet.
And that can be disheartening. Nice stomp kick to the knee from Simeon Powell.
Yeah,
right hand snuck through, and again with the uppercut.
Yeah, his corner, Sean, was asking for more leg kicks. There it is.
Goes twice to the calf of Clinton Willams. Halfway through this third and final round, light heavyweight showcase action. No points on the line, no place in the light heavyweight regular season standings for either of these men, but of course, looking to impress our president of fighter operations, Ray Seffo, and maybe get an invitation to that $1 million quest eventually. Excellent sweep there from Simeon Powell out of the clinch.
2 minutes, Clinton. Push. Clinton, 2 minutes right here. You 1-1 right now. You gotta go.
That jab from Simeon Powell, so long and so sharp.
Left side, left side. 1-2-1. Go right now. Hey, Clint, show us. You keep saying it, but show us.
Randy, the thing I would like to see a young, long fighter like that develop, when he knows that jab is pretty much a guaranteed land, you got to be able to bring some power behind it.
Absolutely, and I think that's what Willams figured out. There was no power coming behind that, and he started turning up the wading through that jab to get close and get these takedowns.
As long as we're asking for power, you just saw more horsepower on display from Clinton Willams, who just grabs him and picks him up. Might not be the most technically sound shot for a takedown, but it's effective.
When he tries to post, you go to his back, pull him away from the cage.
Strong round here in the third frame for Clinton Willams. He's got to mount some offense from these control positions, as you mentioned, Kenny Florian.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, how the judges are going to see these takedowns, because he is successful with them. He's putting Powell on his back, but not landing any damage here. There's no strikes being thrown.
Willams has got to find a way to posture up, get elevation over Powell's head, and then he can land some punches and do some damage there. Here we go. We see him starting to get some elevation now.
Elevation for Simeon Powell as well. Now 2 feet on the mat for the taller fighter.
45 seconds, Clint. There we go. Beautiful round control. Second, and this one. Nice ring generalship. Knees and work. Beautiful, Clinton. Way to go, man. 30 seconds. Nice work, Sim.
30 seconds remaining inside the showcase.
Wow! I believe it was a knee. A short knee.
Right up the middle, and Simeon Powell, as he's walking away, face plants Clinton Willams. It was
goodness.
so quick, I didn't see it.
He just turned him and just lifted his knee and just flatlined Clinton Willams. just precision.
That's 5 days notice. Give me a full camp. I'll be all these.
In the closing moments of this third round,
He just turns him, throws a knee. Oh my goodness. You see the eyes of Clinton Willams just go in the back of his head.
The benefit of being 6'5" right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Knee comes right up the middle.
Yep. And listen, it doesn't have to be a big power shot. It has to be precise. It landed in the right spot. I don't think Clinton Willams saw it coming. And man, we saw the result.
Absolutely.
we'll take another look at this one. And look, it starts, Randy, with this work, grab the head, get himself off the cage.
We saw him squirt out of that clinch position on 2 other occasions in other rounds. That time, he turned him perfectly and threw that knee right up the middle. Turned off the CPU right there, boom.
The third knockout of Simeon Powell's young career. He's undefeated at 6-0. And the future, as they say, is bright.
No question about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the stoppage comes officially at 4 minutes and 38 seconds of round number 3. Your winner by knockout, Simeon Powell.
All right. Smooth Simeon Powell. 12 days ago, you won a PFL developmental contract. You landed back in England to go celebrate. Had a phone call waiting for you. No, turn around, come back to Texas. We want you to fight again. And the result is a third round knockout. How are you feeling with that sequence of events right now?
Great. This is what I expected. I took that fight because I was confident I could get the finish and get the win. I'm trying to prove to this company that I'm a serious contender in this division. I'm young, but I'm hungry, so feed me.
Clinton Willams did have a little bit of success. He was able to pick you up and put you down, 3 takedowns. You worked your way back to your feet, and ultimately it was the knee that finished it. Where'd you get the read on that in this fight?
He got lazy when I felt him. He got tired. When I got up, he got lazy, and he left his arms out, and his head was right there. It's money.
If we could take a look at the replay here, maybe we can get it on one of these monitors, but beautiful and up, oh, there it is.
Oh, we missed it.
Missed it a little bit, here it is. You grab the head and work your way off the cage, right up the middle there.
Beautiful.
You knew it was over.
Pretty, look at that. Smooth as you like. That's it.
Well, you told us you never really got to have that big celebratory meal after the fight 12 days ago. I think you can hop on a flight, go home, and get that done now.
Don't be calling me back for no fights, yeah? I'm trying to get drunk, so leave me alone for a couple weeks, you know what I mean?
Smooth Simeon Powell victorious, undefeated inside the PFL Smart Cage.